today. But I'll try to keep it to a minimum. How about that? We get out of here by 12:30, we'll be all right. I'm just kidding. We're not going to be here that long. I don't know if I can stand up here and talk that long. But we're going to get started with a word of prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you for the day. I thank you for the beauty of it, Lord, your creation that we get to enjoy every day. The fact that you wake us up every day so that we can enjoy it, that we can see it, look at it, Lord, feel it, touch it. Lord, you're an amazing God that you even allow us to do that. You're a gracious God because, Lord, you forgive our sin when we don't deserve it. Lord, I just pray this morning that you'll be here and that you'll speak through me and that we'll hear what you have to say today. In your name I pray. Amen. All right, so anybody in here ever played with fire when they were little? Just a little bit. Anybody got any firebugs in here? Firebugs? Yeah. I mean, people that just love to start fires. I'm married to one. That's like a have to if it gets below 72. So, fire is a fun thing to have. It's a cool thing to hang around, sit around and talk. And it, you know what I've realized? What fire does? It attracts things. It can attract all kind of stuff. Some things you don't want. Depending on what you're burning and what color the smoke is, you could be attracting the EPA, which you don't want to attract. If it's a nice, cool evening, you might attract a snake or two, which you don't want to attract. But for the most part, when you light a fire up and you invite some people over, you attract them. Everybody likes to hang out around a fire. I don't know why, especially when it's hot. But you'll be surprised if you light a fire and you invite people over, they're going to come and stand around the fire. Crazy. Right? Crazy. But fire gives off not only heat, but light. So in the darkness, you can see around the fire. If you have a torch, you can walk through the darkness and you can see. But a light, the light of the fire, the light, any light, is that pretty much what the fire today is going to represent. It attracts bugs in the darkness. You know when you're driving down the road at nighttime in the summertime and you got your lights on, your windshield that was once clean is full of bugs. And I'm going to tell you this, last night on my way back from Texas, I was getting close to home and it was getting dark and had the lights on. And I thought it was raining. Daggum bugs hitting the windshield. It wasn't very long. I didn't think I was going to be able to see. It was crazy. But that's what light does. It attracts the bugs. It attracts stuff. Because in the darkness you can't see, right? So let's say, okay, let's have another idea. If the lights go out, anybody have kids that are scared of the dark? If the lights go out and you have a flashlight, your kid is going to find you in 0.2 seconds. I don't care if they were asleep and the lights went out. For some reason, kids know, especially if they're scared of the dark, when the lights go out. Middle of the night, if the lights go out, they know it. I mean, they could be dead asleep. They know it. And you turn a flashlight on or light a candle or a lamp, they're there. I'm serious. In like 0.2 seconds, they're there. You never seen a kid move so fast. They're attracted to the light. Because the darkness scares them. The fact that they can't see scares them. Even though when they close their eyes, they can't see. I don't understand that. But darkness scares them. Darkness scares some people. Older adults. There may be some in here. I don't know. But darkness is scary. Darkness is scary. God gave us a light. Before we get into there, a little bit more about fire before I go too far on the light. When you have a field and the grass is dead and it's been dry a while, and you decide you want to burn that sucker off. You throw a match out there, you better hope and pray the wind don't change. Because you want to burn against the wind, right? You don't want to burn with the wind. You want to burn against the wind. You want that dude to creep across there. Because I'm here to tell you, if you light that sucker on the wrong side or the wind changes directions, it's going to go whew, and it's not going to burn everything it needs to burn. And then it's going to catch the trees on fire, and then you're going to have a forest fire, and that's going to be a whole nother craziness. Fire spreads, and it can spread fast. I mean, you look in the news about the wildfire up in Canada and how fast it went from little bitty to huge. I mean, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of acres it burned in just no time. I mean, it grew so quickly because fire spreads. If you're going to have something on fire, it means that it's hot. But you can't have fire if you don't have what? You got to have fuel, you have oxygen, you have a spark. Right? Everybody know the chemical, all that stuff that happens there. You got to have fuel, got to have oxygen, you got a spark. Without all three of those, you can't have fire. We as Christians get a spark when we become saved. The fuel's already there. God gave us the fuel, our life. The oxygen is there. Word of God is there. We become believers, we get the spark. Poof. We're on fire. So what happens is when you become a believer, you get on fire. You get excited about what the Lord's done in your life. How He's changed your life, how He's turned your life completely around for Him. Not for you, it ain't for you, for Him. That gets me excited. I don't know if you can tell or not, but that gets me excited. It fans the flame that God has put in my heart. It gets me excited whenever people come to know Jesus. When I get to do a baptism, I feel like I'm about to explode. Like I'm a bomb, like a napalm bomb or something. It's just about to explode. I'm excited. It's awesome. I get excited about sharing the gospel. I get excited every week that I get to get up here and talk to you about what I've learned. I get excited. What gets you excited? What gets you excited? What burns you up? What gets the fire started in you? What are you passionate about? You know what I love to see also? Another thing that excites me is somebody doing something that they are passionate about. And I don't mean halfway. Because when you do something that you're passionate about, you give it all you got. 100% of the time. Because you're passionate about it. You love it. You get excited about it. It just builds you up. It just makes you can't just sit there and be still. You got to move and shake. And there's sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what to do, but I got to do something. Just because I'm that excited. I'm that on fire. Just want to go do something. Watching people get passionate about things and doing something about it gets me excited. So what is your passion? What do you do that lights you on fire? Do you do anything that gets you excited? Do you anything that you're passionate about? Or are you just going through the motions, just kind of going through? You see what happens there is that you get to know Jesus, and so you get excited, you get fired up, and that light is shining. Remember I said the fire that's burning inside you spreads quickly, and so it gets to other people. But what happens is that if you don't get to doing something that you're passionate about and using that fire and doing what God wants you to do with it, you lose fuel. What happens when you lose fuel? Fire goes out. It goes down to just embers. It just goes down to where you may not even see the glow because it's underneath all the ashes. It's there. There's still a fire there. But maybe it got rained on. Maybe somebody come over and pour water on it. Bursted you down a little bit. Bursted your bubble. That happens to me sometimes. I get excited about something and then somebody says, "Oh, you can't do that." They'll take the flame right out you. But if you're passionate about something and you don't get involved in doing something about that passion, using that passion for the glory of God, what He gave you, the talents He gave you, it's like pouring water on fire. Puts it out. And so that fire that once beamed in your life, that light that once shone through you, is no longer there. So how can people see the light in you if it's not shining? If you're not doing what you're passionate about, it dims. It goes away. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. Y'all flip over there real quick while I'm still running my mouth. The fire inside you can go out. Not go out, but the fire inside you can fade. It can fade if you're not fueling it. And if you don't still have that spark. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. For God who said, "Let there be light in the darkness," has made this light shine in our hearts, so that we could know the glory of God that is seen in the face of Jesus Christ. This world we live in, do y'all understand who the ruler of this world is? The devil. The devil rules the world, right? So what does that mean? The devil is the king of darkness. So we live in a dark world. That's why God sent Jesus Christ in this world to be a light. And to spread that light, he started people on fire. The disciples. He lit them up. lit them suckers up, and they got on fire like no other. They burned like no other. They had a passion, and they shared it with everybody they came in contact with. And so what they do, it spread like wildfire. They lit everybody else up that they came in contact with. They gave everybody that message, the message of Jesus Christ, the gospel. They gave it to them. It lit them up. It started a fire in their life. They started doing things they were passionate about, that God gave them gift to do. But if we don't do anything, there's darkness in this world. If our lights go out, if our fires go out, we're just being mediocre. We're just dealing with the darkness. It's hard to find a campfire when the embers are so dim you can't even see them. You start a campfire, everybody's been camping, you start a fire, and you cook, and you do whatever over it, and you sit around it, and then, it gets late enough, and you're tired enough, and you're like, I think I'll go to bed. And you go to bed, and you wake up before it gets light again, and you're like, where'd the fire go? We can't see it because there's ashes all on top of the embers. You can't see it. Another analogy may be, back in the old days, if you were in the Wild West, they had Indians out there that may or may not have been nice. And so if you were camping out somewhere, you didn't want a fire that showed everybody where you were. Right? You didn't want everybody to know where you was at. And so you kept it covered. You might have a fire, but you kept it small and you kept it contained. You put stuff around it where nobody would see. You needed the fire to cook and stuff, but you didn't want everybody to know you was there. So you covered the fire up so that nobody could see the fire. And what that does, just like the people back then, it protects you. It protects you from people that are bad. It protects you from somebody saying, oh, well, that's just a Christian. They don't know what they're talking about. Or they're mean, or they don't believe in what we believe, or they're not tolerant of us, whomever that may be. It protects you from that because nobody knows you're a Christian. Because they can't see the fire, they can't see the light in your life. So you're protected from the bad stuff. But what about the people that need that light? What about some people that may come be through and they don't have a fire? They need that light to find you. Maybe they're good people. Maybe they need to find you. Maybe they need warmth too. The light that Jesus brought into this world was meant to be spread. It was not meant to be contained. It was not meant to be covered up. In Luke chapter 11, verse 33, it says, no one lights a lamp and then hides it or puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where its light can be seen by all who enter the house. You don't hide a light. If you want to see, you don't hide the light. I mean, if you want to play tricks on people, I guess you could hide it. You don't hide the light. You don't let it go so dim that nobody can see. In your life, you need to be on fire for God, and that needs to be spread everywhere you go. People should be able to see you glowing with the love of Christ in everything that you do. Every place you go. The grocery store. The mall. Nobody in here goes to the mall. The sale barn. Work. The rodeo. Everybody should be able to see it. It should be obvious what you stand for. no matter what. If we're not spreading the gospel through our outreach events here at Cross Creek Cowboy Church, then we're hiding the light. We're hiding the light. We're not allowing other people to see what we believe. We're not allowing other people to see Jesus Christ in us, in all that we do. Right? What good is it? What good are we as a church if we're not reaching out to other people and showing them the light? If we're not encouraging other people to have a passion about the fire that God gave us, what good are we? What good are we? We're not any good whatsoever. Some people try to water down the gospel. I hope that I don't. I don't think I have thus far. I don't plan on changing. Some people make it to where it's a little tolerant of the things that are maybe morally questionable in this world. There's no moral question when it comes to the gospel. The gospel is black and white. Everyone sins. We all need Jesus. He was perfect. He died perfect. He was raised from the dead. And that's the only reason that we can go to heaven. Black and white. There's no other way. You can't water down the gospel. That smothers the fire. It may make you feel good. It may make you be all excited because you heard something that you wanted to hear. There's some people out there that pastors, I don't know if I call them pastors, man, speakers, that will tell you exactly what you want to hear. And their churches are big. They're huge. Thousands of people. And they tell you exactly what you want to hear. They tickle your ear. We're not going to do that here. We're going to preach the gospel. We're going to preach that all sin and all go to hell unless they go accept Jesus in their heart. We're not going to water down the gospel. Being on fire is contagious. When I said earlier about the wildfire that spreads so fast, being on fire, preaching the gospel, is contagious. People catch it. I mean, it's like a bad disease. In the cows, you get a little bit of pink eye, and before you know it, everything in your herd has got pink eye. Like that. It's just like that. If you're on fire and you're shining the light, people around you are going to know, and they're going to say, I want what he's got, or I want what she's got. Because that's awesome. Because they see the passion that you have for what you're doing. They see the passion that you have for Jesus. That's what we need. That's how we spread the gospel. Everybody that you come in contact with is going to see it. Unless you're hiding it. Unless you pour a little water on it. Maybe put it halfway out so nobody can see. Just imagine, you ever seen anybody do crazy stuff with gasoline and fire? I have done crazy stuff with gasoline and fire. I've never been burned. Close. Maybe some hair singed. So everybody understands what gasoline and fire does, right? You don't mix those two. Well, I'm here to tell you that if the gospel is the fire, we need to be carrying around gasoline and just dumping it everywhere. so that this thing just blows up. We should be that on fire. Dumping it on everybody. Here, have some. Poof. Bursting in flames. Man, that's exciting. It is exciting. It gets me fired up. Same chapter in Luke, earlier in the verses. It says, anyone who isn't with me opposes me. And anyone who isn't working with me is actually working against me. So if you're not walking around with a blowtorch and gasoline, dumping it on everybody you see and lighting them up, then all you're doing is pouring water on them. You're not allowing that to happen. So if you're not working for God, if you're not doing things for God, if you're not passionate about Jesus Christ and what He did for you and sharing that with other people, then you're just the one walking around pouring water on everybody. So that their flame, they don't get on fire. You ever tried to start wood that's been underwater? It's kind of difficult. So if you sit there and pour water on everybody all the time, you're never going to get them started. You're never going to get them fired up. You're never going to get them excited. They're never going to have a passion about Jesus Christ because you're steadily pouring water on them. That's what this says. If you're not working for me, you're working against me. If you're not lighting them up, if you're not getting excited and passionate about what you believe and getting other people excited and passionate about what you believe, then you're dragging them down. There's one or the other. There's not an in-between. There's not an on the fence. There's not a middle ground there. There's no gray area when it comes to this. You're either working for Him or you're working against Him. One way or the other. This world is full of darkness, and we are the light. We are the fire. We need to be spreading like wildfire. We need to be doing everything that we can to spread the gospel. Everything that we can do. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get in front of your friends that you've been friends with for a long time and share the gospel with them because, well, they may reject you. They may. But that's not your concern. All we're supposed to do as Christians is share the gospel. Share the word of Jesus Christ. That's what we're supposed to do. It doesn't ever say anywhere in the New Testament that you're supposed to make someone else saved. You have to make someone else saved. We cannot do that. We don't have the power. We don't have the smarts. We're too dumb. We're supposed to share the gospel and let the gospel do the work. Let God do the work. We can't change people's hearts. We can change their minds sometimes. We can make them think what we want them to think. But I don't care what you make them think. Their heart's going to be the same unless they're changed by Jesus Christ. So I challenge you today to think about where you're at in your spiritual walk. Are you on fire or are you just smoldering? You're just sitting there. Are you passionate about what you're doing? Are you passionate about sharing the gospel? Are you excited about doing stuff for the gospel, for God? Or are you just sitting there smoldering? How are you? Where do you land? Are you walking around pouring water on people? Or are you sitting over there with a torch and a can of gasoline going, here, have some? What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's pray. Dear Lord, I thank you for the day. Lord, I thank you for your word. I thank you for the gospel. I thank you for sending your son down the cross so that we don't have to die in sin. We can live with you. Lord, I thank you for giving us your son. For giving us your word so that we can know what it is we're supposed to do, what it is we're supposed to think, how it is we're supposed to act. Lord, I thank you again for sending your son to die on the cross and raised him again so that he defeated death, so that we can defeat death. With your heads bowed and your eyes closed. If you've never accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, if you've never given up the reins to him, you can do that this morning. Say this prayer. Say it after me. You say it to yourself. You say it out loud. Lord, I mess up. I'm a sinner, and I need you.